Hello YouTubers, Troz here, back with some more Factorio All Item Train. And this is actually just a few minutes after the end of the last episode. I have gone over here and am now bringing in the proper materials. We got a full lane of, well, 3 lanes, 2 belts of iron, and that made all the difference. You can see basically this first full blue belt is used by all the initial, or most of the initial grenade producers, and then when we get here, the last 4, there's basically no iron left. So these last 4 here also have a arm that grabs from this single red belt lane to keep them running. And that then, the other lane gets almost completely filled by the output, and that goes to the to production of the cluster grenades, one which runs all the time, one which runs about half the time, maybe a little more than half the time. You see we're making like 650. Well, let's go on a full minute here. 630 a minute, and we get almost 90, between 85 and 90 of the cluster grenades a minute. So there's that. You see we're still making these destroyers. I had hoped they would hit 60. It looks like they kind of average out at 55 though. That's close enough for me. Let's check that out. Oh, well, it would hit 60, like I said, if these were full, but hey, we're loading the trains. So let's, yeah, this isn't even close to being full. This is closer to being full, but we have basically a spare, 4 spare assemblers for these, so that's why they fill quicker. In fact, these aren't even filling as fast as the destroyer capsules. Like I said, if this was full, we would hit 60 a minute. But yeah, as you can see, or as we saw earlier, and I'm sure is happening still, these arms miss like every other one, so we could have a few extra distractors. They're distractors a minute, so it wouldn't pause like that, and I'm sure we would be getting then over 60. Yeah, so I'll be back, well, for you momentarily. I have yet to set up for the rest of this episode, but you'll see me in just a second, so see you then. Alright, I'm back. For me, it's actually the next day. I've set up some things to build, and actually I just put down a bit more concrete over here. Because I kind of want to finish concreting this out, at least the station area, by the time I finish all the builds, and we're getting down there with what builds are left. I mean, we're finished these first 2 tabs completely. We finished most of this tab except for the science and the used up uranium fuel cells, and we're about halfway through the military stuff as well. So it seems like we only have a few more episodes left. But there's still plenty of things to do. Some of the things that are left are not that easy. So let's see what we can fit into the rest of this episode. So the next thing, we did all this stuff last episode, is armors. And some of these aren't that easy. I actually have 2 blueprints here. So this is every armor except the Mark II power armor. And it's not too bad. We got your light armor, which is just some iron plates. Your heavy armor, which is copper and steel. Your modular armor, which is not too bad, but it takes a lot of steel and quite a bit of time. Then we got your normal power armor and your, well, that's your normal power armor is the last armor in this build. So we only have one assembler for your light armor because that normally takes 3 seconds, but with all the speed modules on here, we're making them quite a bit faster than 1 second. You see we have 500% on there, and actually it will be even more if we had another power pole. Oh. How is that getting power? Oh, there was a power pole. I was just kind of in the way of it. It got placed. So yeah, 600%. So we should be making more than 2 of these a second, because really the crafting speed is 8 times faster, 8.75 times faster than what this says. So the medium, or I should say heavy armor, we have 2 of them in order to get the crafting time for more than 1 a second. We have 3 of the modular armors to achieve the same thing, and we got 4 of the power armors. And yeah, things just get more complicated from there. So let's start bringing in the materials. I have most of them coming up to here. So let's get these in. Now this is one of the few builds that I've done this, but I don't really have everything being made here that this needs. In particular, this needs some electric engines for the power armor. And I'm not crafting them here. So I'll have to set that up. Oh, I believe, these as well over here. So let's figure out the belts here. We'll bring some steel over there. Some steel there, and here. Need to go one more. We need a copper line brought over to here. The iron needs to come over here. And now, you'll come mostly straight. And now we just need the electric engines. Luckily, well, not luckily. Not that I totally planned this, but I knew we had electric engines being made not too far away. So we got, well, let's say quite a few assemblers. I think there's 14 over here, or something to that effect. The only slight problem is they're not actually boxed up until up here, and I wouldn't want to take them off early. But we'll put a little underground belt here. Oh yeah, you're a filter inserter, filter stack inserter. I'll just put a stack inserter here. While this isn't a full lane, it's hopefully going to be enough for our needs. You can see there's some gaps, but it's not really too bad. Let's put an underground past here and try to keep out ahead. And this looks a little better down here. Why are they not coming? Because apparently I missed that there's a tree in the way. I guess I didn't have to rush that much to keep ahead. Yeah, more. Yeah, I don't. No, don't take the tree. I just want to remove the belts. Blacklist trees. And that. There we go. Bots will get it for me. Let's. Oh, come on. Something like that. Hopefully we'll be past everything. Yep. Okay, that looks good to me. Let's hook everything up. Yeah. Basically just checking to make sure we still had RoboPort coverage back here. Or back here, this far out. So we're making our light armor at 54, 64, about 60 a minute. We're doing 48 let's. We're doing at least 48 a minute on all of them, and even. Yeah, we got enough engines going past here to keep all of these running. It's really the blue circuits that are kind of the limiting factor. That really could be designed better. We have blue belt up until here, so we're taking 40 a minute up until this point, but after that it's only 40 a minute, 40 a second. It's only 26 on the red belt. And we need kind of 40. I'm not sure why there's speed modules in these, when they probably would be just as fast with efficiency modules. Alright, now it looks like we're kind of waiting on the engines, but what are these? Oh wow. Did not mean for that to happen. Well, that's quite a bit more of those than we needed. Where are these going? Yeah, I should have double checked. We only need like a row of each of these at most. Yeah, so that's production there. In fact, oh, these are so even though these aren't quite, they're being made at like 48 a minute. That's a whole chest worth in a minute, or maybe even they were 40 a minute. But so yeah, that's most of the armors except the biggie. The biggie is the Power Armor Mark II. The steel plate and the processing units aren't really that big of an ask. The problem is the speed module 3s and the efficiency module 3s. And the fact that we need 5 of each of them. Now, we already have module production over here, but we only have 4 level 3 module producers of each type. And while I could import them, I felt it was just better to have some dedicated module production. So, this is as much module production as that whole earlier one was, except we're not producing any of the productivity modules here. We have 3 speed module lane production, so it's 6 speed module 3 producers, and 6, oh, these are speed modules, 6 efficiency module producers, and they all feed into one power armor producer. This is efficiency moduled, only because even with this much, um, the extra speed doesn't help production any. What is our... Yeah, we'll... that kind of works out good. We'll put that down there. In fact, this is actually going to cause a lot of module production itself, just to fill it. I actually do have a little bit of red belt here to make the to spread out the modules. Because what's really going to happen is eventually this will back up. We'll have a whole big line of speed module here, and if as we fill the train, they're going to block the efficiency modules from getting in. I could use splitters, but by slowing them down, this should allow the efficiency modules in an alternating pattern. If it doesn't, I can always just replace it with a splitter. I just thought this would work out using less materials overall. Thank you for that autosave. So it looks like we got to hook up power here. And I'll do... Or... Oh, okay, it's... not building over there because that wasn't covered, but it is now. The big problem is going to be hooking up all these lanes. So here are the dedicated steel and blue modules for the power armor assembler. I should just fill this in. These 6 lines each are the 6 lines we're going to need for the different circuits. And I guess technically, I believe it's only a half line each of the green and blue, but a full 6 red. The way the modules use them, as the red is basically used for all the levels, where the blue is only used for the highest and the green is only used for the lowest. But we're bringing full belts anyway, just to be sure. The big problem now is going to be routing all of these belts, and I'm sure we'll figure that out. So let's actually get started on that. I'm gonna bring a blue belt over. These are the blues over here: green, red, blue, and this actually kind of nicely fits over there, leaving room for the greens. Let's leave a space there at the end. I'm gonna take one more blue out this way and just zigzag it there at the end. Let's leave room for the reds. I hope I left enough space here for all the belt maneuvering we'll need. Just It's looking okay so far. Ooh, I didn't want that going all the way. Oh well. Alright, we'll do the reds next. And, you know what? This will be okay. We'll play around with the greens somehow. Yeah. We'll figure something out with the greens. I can actually turn this one off early and this next one, again, we'll do a little zigzag here, and then we got 4 that need to come this way, so that looks good for that. And for that, there we go. And now we just need to figure out the green. That'll sort of work, I think. Maybe. Let's see. No, that won't sort of work. That will sort of work. That sort of won't work. But no, that won't work either. um. That should work. Okay. Not the best layout, but it should allow us to get everything where we need it to go. And finally, here we go. Okay, how are we doing up here? Everything looks constructed. So let's hook it all up. Oh, come on. So, we have these all flowing in. The reds should eventually back up and fully compress, like they're doing over here. They get uncompressed momentarily as this line uses some, but they'll compress back up. We're starting to get some efficiency modules being made. Efficiency 3 modules, I should say. Alright, let's make sure this is properly limited to 1 row. This is at 300%. Alright, we're starting to get some speed modules in here as well. You can see it finishes way quicker than we can actually get the speed modules in, so having more speed beacons or speed modules actually on the assembler won't help. And unfortunately, none of this can be productivity moduled. If we set this at 1 minute, I think we can get 4 minutes out of this build. Maybe 5. We'll see. Actually, we're doing decently at this rate. But even 5 a minute, that would be 8 minutes to fill the train car. It's 4 rows and 2 minutes per row. But it actually looks like, oh, maybe it's 8 that this gets. So that would be only 5 minutes for the train car, which is quite decent actually. it helps that these don't stack. But yeah, just about 8 a minute. There we go, 8.7. So that's not half bad. Alright, we're a little over halfway through this episode, and this was all that I had set up. I did think we were going to get through this, and I do have the next thing ready. It's just gonna take a bit of work. Let's clear out some of the trees here, and we'll expand. Let's leave those. I don't mind the rocks. Alright, that's all of that. Here's our belt section, and I know if I can keep that off the screen, my frame rate keeps up. If I stand, right about here, the top of the screen has the gears, and if I move this, there's the gears are only, well, they're not as wide. The belt there. I only have 10 lanes of gears as opposed to 16 lanes of everything else. So we'll let the bots go crazy here. Expand the belt a little bit. As these roboports here will get put down, we'll probably be using all 5,000 of our construction bots. And apparently I left some bots behind. There. Yeah. Everybody's getting some concrete here. Oh, they're actually picking up from the reactor builder. Like, here's the real concrete. Although, I mean, this is also putting concrete in a chest. It's intended for the reactors, but I guess, well, the bots can pick it up wherever it's more convenient. Yeah, so this will take a few minutes. Let's. Can you put down? All right. I'll do it then. And what do you mean you... Oh, I'm not sure what I did, but I guess I know I have had different blueprints for the bus here. Apparently, I had one that had a radar at the top, but now I don't. I don't know. I guess I cleared my, or attempted to clear my inventory and moved the wrong one out. Let's fill in this lake. I did a lot of fishing between episodes. It's one of the few things you can't automate. Basically, I went around to a bunch of the lakes and just used the deconstruction planner to mark some lakes as, well, Mark the fish in the lakes for deconstruction. Conveniently, that stops them from swimming around and has your bots go and grab them. What are we doing here? 0 construction bots. But you can see, apparently we have all the concrete at the moment, and we're just missing some belts. That may change. That will change as coverage. As we get some of these roboports in and expand coverage. Anyway, so the next thing to build, and we're not going to finish it this episode, are all the armor upgrades. I'm not really sure what you would collectively call these, but they're things that go in your armor. I mean, I don't want to call them modules because these are modules. So let's just call them armor upgrades. Let's set you for trees only. Oh, we just got spare. Well, we had some spare robots. Yeah. So I have a blueprint. That actually just finished yesterday. Ooh. Oh, I have to. Like I said, I've been making these blueprints in a creative world, and apparently I accidentally grabbed some of the spawner items in the blueprints. I will have to update those. Luckily, I'm not using those this time. Here we go. Let's try to line these up. Well, that will be fine. Let's try to get someplace where I'll be brought some landfill. Should be the logistics spots. Where are you guys? Because if you didn't notice, there's a little bit of water there, and it looks like it's going to be right in the middle of a belt or something. Oh, are you my land? No, you're bricks. Can you bring me some landfill? Hey, thank you. So, yeah, this blueprint is probably the largest in size, and I'm not sure in terms of components, but it's definitely on the larger size of blueprints. Yeah. Let the well. Alright. Get around the tree. There we go. That should take care of that. I was filling in, well, I do have enough to fill in this lake here. I'll probably have to expand the belt a bit more before this whole blueprint is done. But not really going to be a concern this episode, because not going to get nearly all of this built. Here it is. Yeah, this is fully zoomed out, and it's a good 3/4 of the width of the screen. Much wider than... I would say the next biggest is probably all the rocket parts that we did a few episodes ago. Alright, we'll slap you down, and alright, that fits all there. We're gonna need some more roboports. Something like that. And we'll do one there. That should be good. Hopefully that will all connect. That looks to be between belts, so that's good. Just stick some power. Okay. This should get all built now. It'll just take a bit. But, yeah, we're still using our construction bots to the fullest. Most of these do not build at 1 item a second, but I believe, except for 1 or 2, they are all over 40 or 48 items per minute. The one I know in particular is this one, which it's hard to see with all the flashing icons, but this is your fusion reactor. And this needs obviously 250 processing units and 40 belts. 40 belts. A blue belt brings 40 per minute, 40 per second. But I only have 3 arms, and they don't take 40 a minute over. But actually, 3 arms on 3 of them and 2 arms on the last. It's basically as fast as we can fill it. So, at whatever... You know, I don't even beacon this. What is... It takes 10 seconds. You can't get 250 processing units in 10 seconds. So, at whatever rate it runs at, it runs at. I believe they only stack to 5, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, that is the one saving grace. I believe most of these items only stack to 5, maybe 1 or 2 of them stack to 10. But it's not large stacks, so it's not like it's going to take forever to fill a train. We'll start off actually with the last thing. The night vision glasses. This is, I think, the one thing that I do build at over 1 a second, just because they use so little materials. It was just easy to have 2 of them, and with 2 of them and The beacons, yeah, it will run at over 40. It seems like I am missing the actual labels, but it's easy enough to guess. We need 10 steel, so that's the side with the 2 stack inserters as opposed to the 1 stack inserter. So it's steel and then red circuits. It is red circuits, right? Yes. So let's get that in, and we'll maybe call it an episode, and we'll get the rest of these next time. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case, since like I am out of almost everything. Can you bring me some underground belts or other assorted goodies? Like maybe actual belts. Oh, okay, here you start bringing me things. How are we actually? It's not great coverage, but it's some coverage. As power gets put in, they'll get more coverage. Alright, that should be good enough for the moment. Yeah. Just sticking these belts in. Ooh. That's lucky that... No, you know what? You guys can't be there. You have to be here. And just trying to get these in as quickly as possible. We'll stick a splitter there, and now for blue belts, we gotta go a bit. Well, either I moved or these are off by one further down. Alright. Don't help too much, robots. I need some of these belts, thanks. It's been taking quite a while to expand the bus. We're not as near the production facilities anymore, so it takes the bots longer to fly and place all the items. Did I... No, okay, I did just outpace the belt. of course, I totally screwed that up. You're not supposed to be blue, you're supposed to be red. I need to pay more attention. I'm just trying to go quickly and assumed, hey, we're doing high-end stuff, it must be blue, but no. It's red. That's okay, I'll use these at some point. Here we go. There we are. Well, at least I realized it before I was all the way at the end here. And I believe we're approaching the end of the episode. How much I recorded a little early last time, but let's double check. Okay, we got half of a line, as long as all this works out. No, you are backwards. Where's... Okay. Hopefully the rest of these belts are all in place. Yeah, it's the portable fusion reactor that needs all the blue belts, blue circuits. You should be just one stack. So here we go. Let's reset this. They're all jumping around. Yeah, so we're 100 some odd a minute. And they stack in 20s. So, yeah, these probably stacking the most of any of the items here. But yeah, we're making these more than one a second, so that's good. I should wrap up this episode. So we'll work on the rest of this next time. It should be fully built by then. Let's just put the armors onto the train and see how that goes. What are we... Oh. Yeah, we still got a lot of belt in that area to place. Alright, we are down here near the end of the train. Buy all the military items. Yeah, not sure how many to request. Maybe 20 of each, the rest. I'll use fast inserters for these because, I mean, hey, we're they're not going to fill up too much of the train. And let's see. Theoretically, that should have kicked off production of all the armors again. Or at least, if the robots are picking them up, it should. I'm guessing the robots haven't picked them up yet, since we aren't really making anything except the power armors and the heavy. Oh, here comes some. I guess I'm just not seeing it for whatever reason. One other thing, let's... Oh, here's these, let's... I don't know, 63 stacks. Okay, there's some of the light armor. That's already half filled. And so is that. And so is that. That needs a bit more. And this will need a bit more, but yeah. That's pretty much it for this episode. Look at that, 100 of the night vision goggles. And then, yeah, here we are. Like 8 a minute for each of the higher tier. No. It says 1.7, but over 5 seconds it should be, well, over a long enough time frame, that should go up a bit. Yeah, but that's this episode. We'll continue producing more armor upgrades, and I'll explain how each of these work, and let's get a radar or 2 in there. But I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with more All Item Train. See you then.